Okay, let's get started. Okay, before today's class, I want to remind you, you need to finish quiz 2 today. Please find a time slot to finish quiz 2. And I have already graded weekly assignment 1, so you can check your grade. And if you
graded it. Oh.
And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. All right. And here is a question. Here is exercise 4 of weekly assignment 1. I want to maybe give you some. Let's have a discussion. Okay. So here, get 2. I think you have already. You must remember this exercise, right? Get 2 floating point of numbers via input function and store them under the variable float1 and float2. Print float1 and float2 the output screen. Following this, check whether float1 is greater than or equal to float2. Okay, it's the 4th exercise of weekly assignment 1. And here's the code. I think most of you use this code in for this exercise. So first one, you define a variable and use the input to input something, right? And print this one, and if it is greater than or equal to float2, print float1 is greater than or equal to, else print something else. So let me ask you, how many students do you think it's correct or not? Can you tap, you think it's correct or not? Yes or no? I think one of you vote no. Yeah, so why actually is not correct. Here, I used one test case to show that. For example, if you use, if you have the first float number as 1.2, and then the second one would be 1.20, then if you check that, print out 1.2, 1.20, right? And the float1 is not greater than or equal to, it will print out the second one, okay? Make sure the tab is float. Yes, first one, yeah. And in this case, because when you use input function, when you use input, no matter what kind of data type you input, like the strings or number, integer or float, it will be a string value. All right. So here is a 1.2, but not a float number. It's a string. It's a string value. It's a string. Okay, and it's a string. So if you want to compare, if you use greater than or equal to, it's not two float number compare. You are not comparing two float number. You are comparing two strings. Okay, so that's why here you have one more 0. Then it can still be larger. Yeah, so that's why the result is not correct. So please make sure to use the tab casting when you want to get two float number. You need to use the float function to do the tab casting. In this way, if you check 1.2 and 1.20, then it is the correct one, right? It is the float 1 is equal to float 2. Okay, so please make sure you have this float tab casting function. Okay, that's why this code is not correct. Okay, so any questions? It's normal to take it off. Just checking. I think, yeah, take it off. Actually, I discussed with the professor, so she thinks maybe actually it's not very important of the weekly assignment. If you are all correct, in the following class, or not all correct, because we have some bonus points. So here we just want to make sure it is very, very important things. So please make sure to have the typecasting. So we take the 20 points off. But the next one, we have some bonus points. So you have multiple opportunities to make up to get the 4 marks on the assignments. Now don't worry, please don't worry, okay? Yeah, so it's about the this exercise. Okay, so let's get started for lab 10. All right, please, it's about the functions. So today, I think it's a little bit hard about functions. Please make sure to run the first script. And the second one, please put your name and your numbers and the date, okay? And here you see in a function, so there's input something, and you need to make sure, you need to make sure you have some arguments. You need to input some arguments and do the calculations and get the return value. Please make sure, I think in most cases, you need this return value. You need to have this output and return it to other programs, okay? So functions are simple pre-written code fragments perform a certain task. In the last case, we use a math.cosine function, right, to calculate cosine similarity, not cosine similarity, just a cosine values, right? It's called a certain task. It cannot be used to calculate some average or a sine function, right? And here, for example, you see when you use maybe the Excel or Word, you can sum the functions and have sum A1 to A5 to get all of them, right? And calling the function, so we can type in the name of the function or using the dot notation, right? So I will show you how to use them and the program flow and functions, whether built-in. Built-in means you don't need to import anything. It is built-in Python 3.9, so you can just use it. For example, the print function, you didn't define it, right? Because it's a built-in function in Python, so you can use the print functions. You print the function without declaring it, okay? Or edit must be defined when it's called. So if you want to use some other guy's package or your own library, you need to define it, and then you can call it. All right. This built-in functions called self-defined upon a start, like the print or type. Okay. For example, here is some examples built-in functions. You can check it. You don't need to define them before you use them. All right. Like where's the print? So print, here is a print, right? We use it several times. And the int, the typecasting int, and the bool, right? Bool, tab t, where's the t tab here? Here's a tab. And the list, right? Maps, hex, float. We all use them. Okay, so it's about the program flow. Yeah, so let's see one concrete example. So first one is a magic function to reset all the notebook in case you have already defined something, right? And then we can use this way. We can use this style of code to calculate the square root of a number. Square root, for example, here is x is 4, and the square root by arithmetic x. And here's the like 1/2. The power is 1/2. So that's why you can use it as an arithmetic square root of, and then do that, right? So the square root of 4 is 2, because you can use this way to calculate it. In this in this example, you didn't you don't need to define any functions, right? But the next one, you can use the math, right? You can use the math function. You can use the math package or library, import the math package, and then math dot square root, and x. And then after that, print x and print the square root of this arithmetic. You can use this way, but actually, when you use math dot square root, it is much faster. So for now, you only need to calculate the one number, so it doesn't matter. But if you are using maybe if you want to calculate 1 million numbers, you need to use this math dot square root, okay? Because it's much faster. It will save you maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, but not. It sounds like not very fast, but but if you are in a big project, the efficiency is very, very important, okay? Next one, here you reset them again, and yeah, the first one is also like the basic calculation, right? You don't need to input anything. And next one is another way to use the square root from the package math, right? In this way, we import math and use the math dot square root dot function name, right? And in this way, we know we only need this single one function from the math package. So we can use from math import only this function name, and then we don't need to use the package name dot. We can use this square root and then x, so we can print that. Okay. Actually, there are 3 methods to call a function. Here we have 2. First one would be import the package and use the package name dot function name and the arguments as x, right? Or you can use from the package, import the function, and then use the function name, then arguments. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, next one is about the built-in functions. You can learn them, and I think I don't have time to explain all of them. So if you are interested in some of them, you can Google them. Actually, Google is the best teacher when you learn programming. And please make sure to write more codes. And if you have questions, errors, you can check. You can Google them. Okay, so next one is how to use the add-in how to use some other not internal, external package and libraries, for example, as a math, right? So there are 3 ways to import them. For example, the first one would be import entire module by writing import module name. For example, the import math, and use the math dot square root, right? Second one is import and rename the module by writing something. For example, here is import random as R. So we rename this package as a shorter one, right? For example, later you need to learn NumPy, number for Python, right? And then sometimes you need to rename as NP, right? NumPy as NP. Okay, and then last one is import specific functions from the module by writing from the package name import number 1 or number 2. Okay, and then you only need to use this function from the random package. So let's see them one by one. So example 1, import the package name, and then set 2 variables, low and high, and then package name dot function name, and then 2 arguments, low and high, to generate a random number in range low to high. Okay, so it's 4. So actually this line is exactly the same as 2 lines of it's the same. Okay, so if you want to like list them in the same line, so you can use this. You can use this symbol to separate them. Okay, so this two is exactly the same as this line. Okay, in this way we import the entire package, right? And next one we import this one as another name. We rename this package, right, as R random range, right? So it could be different because it's like a we use it to generate the random number, so it is a random number. And next one is low and high. We only import this single random range function, so we can use this random function. We don't need to use the package name or rename the package name. Okay, so only this function name. So there are three ways to import a function. Okay. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay. Next one is what the user built. So in the previous examples, we learned how to import other guys' library, right? So the random is not written by you, right? Next one, when you want to write your own function, you can do this way. First one, when you define the arguments, define the functions in Python, the syntax would be definition. def means the define the function name, and then around brackets, and then arguments. Arguments could be the number of the arguments could be more than one, right? So here is only one, but you can set maybe 3 or 4 arguments, and code detail about how to do that, and the colon above, and the indentation, very important. And the last one, you need to return something. In most cases, you want to return. In some cases, you don't need to return. It depends on your situation, right? In most cases, you need to return expression or some variable. Okay. The keyword definition tells is on the line is part of a function. The keyword return tells a program to return an answer from the function. You want to get the answer, right? Let's see some example here. User built with a code block. It's a full function. First one you see define, and function name was FOO, and then argument would be X. So it will calculate X multiply and the square root of X plus 1, right? Don't need the math package. And then return this variable, return this expression, okay? That's right. So you see it's a return something. And if you want to, for example, here, if you want to calculate them, you can use the, for example, here, print full, maybe, for example, 2, right? Let's try it, 2, and the result would be this way, right? Because here, I want to see result is equal to full, maybe 2.0, and then print out, print the result. Because we have this return keyword, so when you first one you pass this to 0 to X, then calculate X as 2.0 and get the temp variable, and return this temp variable, return the value of the temp variable to this result, and then print out the result. Okay, so it's a process. So please make sure you have these return keywords, because if you don't have this return keyword, you don't know how to pass this solution to some to other programs, to other codes. Okay, because it's an independent block of code. Okay, right. And the next one here is another way to it's very, very important. It's very, very, very useful. So please make sure you understand and know how to write it. It's related to exercise 4. It's related to this one. Okay, so let's tell you. So first one, let me show you this block of code is used to let users to input a correct float number. Okay, so let's see how to avoid other situations. First one, you set a flag value. Yes is a flag value, right? Yes is a variable here, right? And while yes equal to 0, then you want to get x value from this input, right? Please enter a numeric value and store it as x value, right? And then here, please try. We remember try and except because sometimes there's some error, right? That's why we use this try except structure. So let's try to do the typecasting. Because although you let the user to enter a number, but perhaps he or she will input a string, right? And then you try to do the float typecasting, but maybe there's some errors. There are some errors, right? So try to do that, and then if it works, revise the value of the ES as 1. Okay, and if there are some errors, then it won't perform this statement. It will print out. It will print out something under the except structure, right? So that's why if you don't enter a numeric value, then it will print out enter a bloody number. Try again, okay? And it will do that again until you have a float number, okay? Until you have a float number, and after that, you need to change this ES value as 1, and then ES 1, the value of ES is 1, so 1 is not equal to 0, then the loop will end, okay? So that's why we can continue this loop and end with a numeric value, right? So I think it's a clever design, right? Yeah, and please make sure to use a try and accept structure to make sure this code will continue using. And after that, you set another result as the full x value. You pass the x value to this function and then print out this value, right? So let's try. So first one, maybe let me try some strings, okay? So you say enter a bloody number, try again and do it again. So you have a strings and then some number, do again. So it don't work, right? Example, bloody number, try again. So it means now the loops works several times, right? And next one you want to try to maybe perhaps you want to enter a number, then it works, and then yes would be 1, so this loop will end and then print out the value, right? It's a value from this full function, and then the program end. Okay, so please make sure to learn this way. It's a very, very important, because in this way, for example, in the exercise 4, if you enter a string value and then a number value, so you cannot compare them, right? So for example, here, if you enter like a string, then 1.2, then here you can still compare them. Why is this one is greater than 1.2, right? So it's ridiculous. But in this way, you can avoid this situation. You can you will let the program to check if it is a string or not, if it is a number or not. It will get until you have 2 numbers. Okay. Okay. So any questions so far? All right. Next one is about the average function. So it's pretty useful. Average function to get 3 values. So here we have 3 arguments, and then get the result and return this result, compute the average and return this average, right? So the structure of the function is very clear. and print out, right? Define, let's define and print, right? Clear. And then another way is here is BR1, and you can also test some other things, average, right? Some other numbers. So the key is about the how to define this average 3, okay? And next one is Katana function. So it's another one to like to get the for rounding up the nearest 100th. It means the 2 decimal places, test them for the values. You can use the round function. Actually, the round function is also a built-in Python function, so you don't need to import other external packages. So round function, then get it to the nearest hundreds, right? Nearest hundreds. So pretty clear. Okay, so next one is about the variable scope. So it's a very important concept. So actually in some functions, the variables x and the temp. So in case you forget, so in this full function, there's a 2 variable x and temp, right? They are local to the function, so you cannot use the x and temp in other functions, outside of this function. So when any variable declared outside the function is the main programs is known as the program variable and accessible wherever, anywhere the program, but the x and temp, you cannot call them from other programs, okay? That's why we need to the return, because we can build a bridge between the function and other programs by this return keywords. You can return this value to some variables outside of the function, all right? And next one is about the important example. So here we want to build separate module, separate file. We invent this NECO function, export it to a file, and reuse them in later notebooks without having to retap or cut and paste. So please make sure you have this one. The NECO functions evaluates x and multiply square root of the absolute value of 1 plus x, right? Please make sure follow these steps. And the first one, let me delete, okay? So first one, you need to create a text file named mylibrary.txt. Please do that, because if you don't create this one, you will have errors when you run this style, okay? So please follow my step. First, please create a new text file named mylibrary.txt, okay? Create a new text file, click this plus sign and then text file, and then rename my library.txt and get back to the Lab10, and then copy this NECO function and paste here, right? So you see, and I definition NECO, and I delete the space before the colon. Okay, I think it doesn't matter. Maybe definition NECO and import math. Okay, to import something in a function and calculate it and return this one, right? And then save it. Use a Control and S, save it, and then rename it to mylibrary.python. Rename it .python. It means it is a Python 3 file, not a text file anymore. And then modify this wrapper script to use a function and the external module, right? So please make sure you have this way and you have this icon. It means it's a Python, right? Then you will see there are some different colors. And after that, here you can import my library. So it means if you want to import my library or import any package, it will search my library.python from your local folder, from the same folder with Lab10, and then it will search some package installed in your Python environment. Okay, so that's why we need to make sure you store this mylibrary.python in the same location, in the same folder with Lab10. Okay, and then set was yes. Can you repeat these steps, please? Okay, sure. First one, you can see here. You need to create a new text file named mylibrary.txt in the same folder. You can click this way and then create a new text. Then you see it's a new text, and then rename it, or you can copy and then rename it. You need to copy, Control C, and then Control V, right? And I delete this space, but I think it doesn't matter, perhaps. And then please save it, save text, and then rename as my library text. Okay. And then let me show you. And then you check it. It works, right? It is correct. So revise it as Python UI. Okay. And then it works. Then please run this cell and check. Okay. Here is this structure to get a float number. And then you use mylibrary.neco, because the neco just defined in mylibrary.python, right? So let me check and write. So enter a value 1.2. Yeah, then the result is this way. Okay, so please do it correctly. If you don't have mylibrary.python, when you run this cell, there are some errors. Okay, so please make sure you have this mylibrary.python. Unexpected independent. Okay, so I'm not sure. Please try to let me copy, or maybe can you the library don't have the attribute neco? How do you can copy this way in the and paste in the mylibrary.python. Rename is just a right click and then rename. Here, right click and rename. Okay. When create doesn't show up under Lab10. I'm not sure. So please make sure you have this. Please make sure this folder is a location where your Lab10 is in. So how did I make the color for instead of black? Actually, it's not. I didn't set it because it's actually it's a feature of Anaconda Jupyter Lab. So when you change it from the text to Python, the color is the automatically it's defaultly. Yeah, so it still says I don't have neco. It's weird. Yeah, so you define it and neco. I'm not sure why. I copied it exactly. You have it. Yeah, it's weird. All right, so maybe let me share my library.python file with you, and then can you just download and copy it to the same folder? Okay, let me show you. I just shared my library.python file in the chat box, so please download it, and then put it in the same folder with your Lab10 and try again. Okay. I'm not sure why, but you can try again. And so, any questions? So, do you have these errors? No attribute, neco, or or in unexpected indentation? Do you have the errors? Still says the same thing? It's weird, yeah.
一级吧。
Don't have nickel. It worked for me, yeah. I think it should works for you because I just created this library and show you the whole process. I got error unexpected independent. I don't understand why it doesn't work. I don't know either. So can you resend? John, can you resend the file? Actually, to be honest, I cannot share it again because it will show I have already shared these files. So any other guys, can you share it with Jaden? So yeah, I know it looks exactly like. Let me show. Oh, sorry. Let me show you again. Let me try to share it again. But I think it doesn't work. I cannot share it again because I have already shared it. Yes, yes. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. You can download. So if it isn't working, it's not saved. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please make sure you save your file, okay? Please make sure you can use this way to save. Sorry, this way to save Python file, or you can just use Control or Command and S. Still didn't work. Okay, so maybe we can discuss it later, okay? So you can stay here. I want to check your screen. I want to check the process, all right? Okay, so the last one is about the exercise, a function for average. So remember the practice problem from lab 4. I'm not sure. So I have a program and ask a user for 3 numbers, write the program to calculate the arithmetic mean. So display the result. But here we use another way to calculate them. We use functions, right? We use a functions named average func, and then add a comment to every line of the code to explain what they are doing and test the functions with 3 sets of inputs and report the results. Okay, so here we have already showed you the code to input them and then the definition, but it's not complete. So please make sure to write more to complete this average function first, and then test your function with these 3 sets of the inputs, okay? And then report the results with your words, okay? So it's about this exercise. It's not very hard. And I will give you one more hint. It's up here. Here, yeah. So you can check this average function and then finish this exercise. It's not very hard, okay? All right. So actually, it's today what that's all I want to share today. If you don't have any other questions, please feel free to leave the meeting and see you on Wednesday. Have a nice day. And if you have questions, you can stay here and we can discuss, and perhaps you can share your screen and I can help you to figure out what's wrong. Saved and sold module named my library. Okay, so there's no space. My library, okay? So my library, no space, there's only one word, all right? Please make sure my library here is no space, only one word, and when you rename, it's only one word, okay? Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Never have a space. Okay, let me stop share. So any of you, so Nico, could you please share your screen? I want to check your screen first, maybe. You have the problems all the time for this part. Yeah, so please share your screen. Okay, can you hear me? Cool. Can you share your screen? Okay. You can click the green one in the middle of the bottom of Zoom. Then you will see upper arrow called the share screen. Yeah. Modify to use Nico as external. It's the only step I didn't do. Okay, so the fifth one I have already done for you. So because in the previous lab is missing, so you need to import this my library and import my library.nico. So it doesn't matter. I have already done it for you, done step 5 for you. So so it's fine. Okay. I didn't have it in board. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, I think maybe you need to check the preference of your Zoom. Okay, so next one, maybe Jet, can you share your screen? Open system, yeah, let me. Okay, maybe let me share, let other guys share their screens so we can learn that, okay? Jet, can you share your screen? Yeah. Check out. Module named my library. Okay, so here I think I repeated several times. You need to make sure my library is in the same folder with your lab 10. Clearly, it's not your lab 10 folder, right? You need to find lab 10. Where is the lab 10 folder? Yeah, so here, 3 minutes ago. So check my library. Okay, so let me check your mylibrary.python file. The last one, can you check it? Not this one. Okay, this one. All right, save it again. Okay, go back to lab 10 and run it again. Oh, it's weird. The library. Port my library. Click the kernel. Yeah, interrupt, and then restart. The next one, restart. Yeah, restart. Yeah, restart. Click run and run again. Oh, it's weird. Why is that? Okay. Oh, let me check. Why is that? Come on. So weird. Yeah, no module. Restart kernel made it work. Restarting kernel. Yeah, I think restart kernel make it work. Yeah. Can you not click here? You can click the kernel from the bottom. Yeah, here. Not next one. File edit. Yeah, kernel, and the kernel clear all outputs. Yeah, this one. Restart again and try to do that again. And please save first. Save it first. Save. And lab 10, save it first. Yeah, and do it again. Yeah, this one. Oh. Okay, I see. I restarted and it worked. So all the other guys has already solved this problem, but I think it's so weird. Let me check it again. So my library, BRY, no module, my library, import. It sounds like good. I don't know. It's weird. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Have a good one. You too, have a good one. Guys, please make sure that there's no spaces in front of your definition. Yeah, I think it doesn't matter because it cannot find my library.python. It's not saying cannot find the NECO function, right? It's cannot find my library.python, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, but what's wrong with my okay? Yeah. Thank you for your suggestion. Yeah, Jet. Maybe could you please visit me tomorrow during my office hour, and I want to discuss with you maybe in person, because I don't know, but I think perhaps maybe you can can you try to close the Anaconda Jupyter Lab and restart the Anaconda and restart the Jupyter Lab. I think maybe perhaps it works. Okay, 4 to 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday. EC 304. Yeah, try it again. I think. Save it again. Yeah, it works. Any other number and any number? Try it. Yeah, it works. Yeah, so next time, please, maybe first you need to try the restart the kernel or yeah, interesting. Yeah, next time maybe try to restart the kernel and try to restart the Jupyter Lab. Yeah, because I think all the steps they are correct. It's not your fault. It's maybe the software's fault. Okay, sure. Okay, thank you. Any other guys have the problem? Yeah, so if you don't have any other questions, you can stop sharing your screen, Jet, and let other guys, if you have any questions, other guys. Responsible for the exercise 10, responsible. So what do you mean responsible? So you need to finish this exercise in Lab 10? Yeah, so when you submit your work, you need to finish the exercise. Okay, sure. So here you need to, because this function is not completed, so you need to finish this exercise, this function first. Okay, and for this function you can check this average function of this example. It's very similar. Okay, and after that, after you define your function, then you need to test your function with these 3 sets of inputs, how to pass these numbers as the arguments, and then have the result, explain your result. Okay, so that's all about this exercise. It's not very hard. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Thank you. Yeah, sure.